Hi, I'm Tinabeth Piña, and this is Science and You. Today's episode is coming to you from City College's newest addition, the Advanced Science Research Center. If you're interested in outer space, you should know that a huge technical marvel has just been constructed in Jersey City. Donna Hanover has more.
Liberty Science Center in Jersey City has just opened a planetarium. The center's CEO and passionate science geek, Paul Hoffman, says it's special.
Is this really the biggest planetarium in the Western Hemisphere?
It is. It's by far the biggest planetarium in the Western Hemisphere. It's 89 feet across. You have to go all the way to Beijing or to Japan to find a larger one. And when it comes to planetariums, size matters. Here you have a horizon like you would if you were out in big sky country. And the other thing it can do is you could open multiple windows and show multiple things. It's like an architect or designer. They could work on a smartphone. They don't want to do that. They need a big screen.
When Liberty Science Center opened 25 years ago, it had the largest domed IMAX theater in North America. But because fewer films are being made in IMAX format, it was recently gutted and converted into a domed digital theater that is also the planetarium.
The screen itself, it's 588 panels of perforated aluminum. If we adjust the light, you can see through the screens to the speaker systems, the catwalks that connect the speaker systems. It's basically the quality, it's called 8K, it's about the quality of HD TV because of the number of pixels, 88 million that we're throwing at the screen.
Planetarium director Mike Shanahan is the voice and the operator for most of the shows.
Absolutely key to our system is the 10 different video projectors that together cover the entire dome in seamless imagery. Each one is worth about $100,000.
And we also have basically it's a supercomputer, it's a server room, which is taking images from NASA, the European Space Agency, other observatories, adding them to this database of millions of images.
Paul and Mike both say the ability to go live with all these images is fantastic.
You can update information instantly. You can show the exact sky that night and talk about what's there in the evening sky. You can respond quickly to audience questions and go anywhere, even in the universe, based on their questions.
For example, would you like to fly through a favorite constellation?
So we're now approaching the Great Orion Nebula in the constellation of Orion the Hunter. This birthing ground of stars is roughly 1,400 light years away. The view we're seeing is based on imagery from the Hubble Space Telescope. This new animation is just being released and shows more definition in the Orion Nebula than ever seen before. And actually, we were given the rights to show this about a month before it was released to the world.
Liberty Science Center is especially proud that the new $5 million planetarium was funded by a board member, Jennifer Chalsty, and that it will be a place that breaks astronomy news and attracts scientists from everywhere to interact.
We can show you a nebula forming in one part of our screen. We can bring in the astronomer who discovered that in another part. We can have her colleague react to it in a live feed from another image. So it's spectacular.
The new planetarium has triggered a friendly rivalry with the American Museum of Natural History.
Is there a little banter going on between you guys here and the Hayden Planetarium in New York, a little Star Wars?
And their planetarium can fit inside this one. There's a good-natured banter with Neil deGrasse Tyson, but he's the greatest. I mean, he is astronomer laureate of the United States. And anytime, if he gets tired of New York, he's welcome to come run our planetarium.
Now that it boasts the biggest planetarium in the Western Hemisphere, the Liberty Science Center wants more students and teachers and parents and professional scientists to come check it out. The message is, if you want to travel into space, you can get there via New Jersey. I'm Donna Hanover for Science and You.
These days, the latest cure-all for all types of stress is to breathe slowly. But does that actually work? Turns out it does, and Magalie Laguerre-Wilkinson finds out why.
Dr. Richard Brown is an associate professor of clinical psychiatry at Columbia University and an author who's done extensive research in breathing. He also teaches proper breathing techniques as a tool to maintain good physical and mental health.
Well, everybody breathes. And one of the problems is everybody thinks because they've been breathing all their life, they know how to do it. But people do breathing without being conscious of what they're doing.
Dr. Brown's research is well-founded, to say the least. Breathing techniques were discovered in ancient Chinese text 3,000 years ago. But why is proper breathing important?
It turns out how you breathe affects your brain and everything in your body.
Breathing is connected to our autonomic central nervous system, which works through two pathways, the sympathetic and parasympathetic, regulating the vital functions of the body. When a person gets frightened or stressed, the sympathetic branch, or the flight and fight part, goes into action. It speeds up the heart rate and breathing and inhibits other parts of the body to get it ready to confront or run away from a situation. This is counterbalanced by the parasympathetic branch, which calms and recharges the body.
So the stress response system for most people is way overactive, and the soothing, recharging, bonding system is way underactive. Because people are always stressed. They don't realize how stressed they are. They're breathing about 15 to 20 breaths per minute, and you don't see much heart rate variability.
Many years of stress can cause serious emotional and physical disorders, such as depression, heart disease, even inflammatory bowel disease. This is where breathing comes in. Taking control of one's own breathing, even for 5 minutes, is the easiest, fastest, and best way to put these two systems in balance. Slowing down one's breathing activates the parasympathetic system, bringing healing throughout the body. It improves the mind and body, a sure sign that a person's heart rate variability increases. What's the best breathing technique? According to Dr. Brown, it is coherent breathing. That's 5 breaths per minute, in and out through the nose.
It's breathing in for 6 seconds and breathing out for 6 seconds. And it's relaxed.
Dr. Brown teaches this breathing through guided meditation and chimes, which makes it easy to learn. While I thought I was doing something correctly since I came into this world, let's just say I was a willing participant in righting an apparent wrong.
Breath in, the belly expands. And breath out gently, the belly gently relaxes. No rush.
It helps to hear you're guiding me through it, because I will say that sometimes when it's going up the chime, I'm actually breathing out.
That's okay. Yeah.
But it does.
That's normal.
Dr. Brown and his wife, Dr. Patricia Gerbarg, have put all of the types of proven breathing techniques in an award-winning book called The Healing Power of the Breath, which has been translated into many languages. They've also dedicated themselves to providing this training to people recovering from mass disasters, like the 9/11 community, victims of the 2010 Haiti earthquake, and survivors of the civil war in South Sudan.
It brings about a rapid change. One thing we found with thousands of people is it's important to teach them how to turn on this healing part of their system, and it starts a healing process that continues, even if they don't do it again.
A step towards a healthy mind and body that's literally within us.
You gotta put stuff together so you can kind of do what you need to do in about 15 or 20 minutes.
To learn how to do coherent breathing and other breathing techniques demonstrated by Dr. Brown, you can go to the Science and You website at CUNY.tv. And remember, the next time you feel stressed, breathe. Doctor's orders.
Unfortunately, most of us know someone who's been impacted by cancer. And whether the prognosis is good or bad, treatment usually includes surgery, chemotherapy, and often radiation. But what if there was a way to destroy a cancer that was less invasive? Dr. Max Gomez explains.
So that's actually, you're freezing the tissue, you're creating icicles, literally icicles and ice inside the tissue and the cells. And that's not actually what kills the tissue. What kills the tissue is actually the thawing phase. When you freeze and thaw, it actually bursts those cells.
Dr. Michael Police is the chairman of urology at Mount Sinai, Beth Israel. He's describing cryoablation, a medical treatment that can be used to treat certain cancers and metastatic tumors. It involves inserting a probe into cancerous tumors inside the body, freezing them with liquid nitrogen or super cold argon gas.
So when you put the probe in, or you put your wand in to freeze the tumor, you have to also be able to control how wide that ice ball is. And then you have to also get a certain temperature as well that has to cover the entire mass or lesion that you want to go after.
The hard part is freezing the entire tumor without damaging nearby normal tissue. So precise placement is key, aided by imaging like ultrasounds or CAT scans. The cryoprobe can be placed in the tumor during an open surgical procedure or inserted through the skin with a needle-like probe. In the latter case, a patient may be able to go home the same day. As with most surgical procedures, the key to success with cryoablation is using it on the right patient.
And so certain patients who, for instance, are not great surgical candidates for a larger surgery where they would be better off in a sort of an ambulatory setting with minimal anesthesia, and with smaller tumors, and generally you want the tumor to be somewhere between 3 centimeters and less, because then the ability to really envelop or cover the entire tumor does go down, and our success rate starts to go down. But for small tumors, to what's called stage 1A, it's a great technology, and depending on if you're a candidate or not, it makes sense for a lot of patients. We've been using it for prostate, particularly prostate cancer, for a number of years. It's been used successfully for kidney cancer, for recurrent prostate cancer. Some people have used it for instance, metastases or some recurrences in the body where you have, for instance, a bladder cancer or prostate cancer. People who have had radiation treatment and can't get more radiation because they've already reached their limit. This is another modality to go after these types of metastatic lesions or new tumors that may form.
Additionally, Dr. Police says it can also be an option in treating breast and liver cancer. And while cryoablation may be used as a primary treatment, it's also a useful therapy in conjunction with other treatments.
We have patients that have a kidney tumor, a primary kidney tumor that's removed. We do most likely a nephron sparing or kidney sparing type of procedure. We'll remove the tumor. We have pathology. A few years go by, and next thing you know, there's a new tumor that forms. And rather than going back in there, cutting on the kidney again, doing a larger surgery, it may make sense to do a cryoablation at that time. So that would be a perfect example of where it's a great tool that allows a minimally invasive surgical approach.
Freezing a tumor sounds simple, but any cancer therapy can have significant complications. And whether cryotherapy is right for any given patient depends on the tumor's size, location, its shape, and the overall health of the patient. Still, doctors say that cryotherapy is a valuable addition to their cancer-fighting toolkit. For Science and You, I'm Dr. Max Gomez.
On this day in science, February 7, 1863, British chemist John Newlands developed the first periodic table of all known elements, organizing them by atomic weight. He quickly realized a pattern of similar properties in intervals of 8, calling it the law of octaves. Just 6 years later, a Russian chemist by the name of Dmitry Mendeleev published his own periodic table and was credited as the father of today's modern periodic table of elements. However, it wouldn't be until 1913 that Henry Moseley would reorder the table based on atomic number instead of atomic weight, giving us the table that we use today. Are we in danger of overly evolved artificial intelligence? There have been stories about AI computers being shut down for learning an inappropriate language or for creating a language of its own. Ari Goldberg finds out what exactly AI is and whether or not humanity truly is at risk.
When we think of artificial intelligence, it's easy to think of Hollywood fantasy, sentient robots with agendas. In the real world, though, AI systems are far from their silver screen portrayals. Yet, some of them have begun to make some technological leaps forward, with some results making headlines and raising eyebrows. In July of 2017, Facebook's AI division had to temporarily shut down 2 of its bots when it was discovered that they were communicating in what was essentially their own language. Fortunately, the reality isn't robots run amok, just a need for some revised coding.
Learning is done typically by some kind of reinforcing process. Artificial intelligence is the simulation of intelligent human behavior. And there was no reinforcement for English in that program. And now you'll be left with 2 machines that have a common language, and people have to figure it out.
We spoke with Susan Epstein, a leader in the field of artificial intelligence development, to help demystify the concerns over some of these unexpected behaviors in today's developing AI systems.
When we develop a machine that learns, we have to decide what we want it to learn, when it should learn it, how it's going to learn it, and then how it's going to use what it learns. So those are all instructions at this point that we are giving the machine.
Epstein explained that like a human brain, computer systems must be taught to function, in this case programmed, with very detailed instruction. As the coding and programming progresses and AI systems reach higher levels of complexity, those instructions will require more and more detail so as to avoid unwanted results.
If you're trying to build an intelligence, one of the nice things you can do is think about it like building a baby. And if you do that, then you put this child, depending on the way you raise children, in a very rich environment, and then sit back and watch and see what it figures out. If you raise a kid, it's the same problem. You have to remember to say, and everyone's got a different policy, these are words that if you use, some people will be very unhappy with them. Here are contexts where you can use them, and here are contexts where you can't.
Some AI systems, such as Microsoft's chatterbot Tay or IBM's Watson, learn communication through analysis of human dialogue on the web.
Tay, who lived 16 hours online before they took her down, and they took her down because she learned to say really offensive things. Remember, what you do when you raise a child is at some point the child goes outside, and they are then subject to input and control and suggestions that are outside your control. Now, Watson once got hold of something called the Urban Dictionary, at which point it started cursing. And I believe they took the dictionary away from it, because it's the same problem. If you use what you know and you don't have societal norms for it, you don't have, it's not even a question of control so much as giving the computer a sense of what's appropriate. And Tay couldn't figure that out. People who code do reinforcement and penalty. So if you do that, we will penalize you in this way. We do that with learning programs.
Penalties and enforcing correct behavior through programming is a big part of current AI development.
First, you have to decide what is going to be acceptable in the world. There is a huge movement in the artificial intelligence community that is several years old now to look at ethics with respect to artificial intelligence. I think that societal norms and respect for humanity has to at some point be encoded somehow.
One of the first AI robots that will encounter these ethics issues is Sophia of Saudi Arabia, the first robot that has become an actual citizen of a country. AI systems like Sophia may be able to simulate human desire, but they are far from emulating the crucial tool in processing, thinking, and reacting as a human-like being: emotion.
If we program them to have them, yes, we could get a machine to say, I am happy, I am sad, I am frustrated. There's no reason we can't have it produce the language that would go with the emotion. We might be able to produce some of the behavior that would go with the emotion.
So the reality of an artificial intelligence having an emotional reasoning and motivation behind its choices as we understand it will most likely not occur in the way film and TV likes to portray. However, that doesn't mean scientists aren't continuously progressing towards something resembling sentient artificial intelligence systems.
They can do anything we tell them to do, but what we're interested in is getting them to make their own decisions. And that's what AI does. I think what you're seeing at this point for AI is we've just gotten going. It's going to be a long and very exciting trip, but it's just the beginning.
This is Ari Goldberg for Science and You.
We hear so many stories about saving our planet, but how many of us actually do something about it? I met one unconventional environmentalist who's saving the Earth one tree at a time.
I want to make a smaller footprint, be responsible, do something that mattered.
Meet Robert Rising, also known as the Black Lumberjack, whose company, NYCitySlab, recycles trees that have fallen within 50 miles of the New York metro area.
The first thing we create out of trees is raw material, which is lumber, slabs. From slabs, we sell those to other woodworkers, other builders, homeowners, DIYers. And we also build furniture with those slabs, whether it be tables, consoles, cabinets. And we basically take trees that come from municipalities, parks, recreational areas, but we don't take down trees. We only get trees that are already fallen down.
Why did you start recycling trees and making it into furniture? Why was that so important to you?
Because it was a way for me to give back. I started recycling the trees first, and I thought it was cool that I'm saving trees from this very wonderful city. And there's no real reason to go anywhere else because it's all right here. And I prefer to save local trees because they have a story, they're part of who we are.
Trees not only have a story, but they are also the lungs of our planet. They breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. They can also provide wood, paper, fruits, medicines, and soil nutrients. Research has shown that trees have positive effects on asthma rates as well. So when a catastrophic event like Hurricane Sandy uproots nearly 10,000 trees in New York City, it's a huge loss, but Robert turns it into something positive for the environment. Now, you're the exclusive lumber recycler of any of the trees from Hurricane Sandy.
That is correct. And the way that worked, having all of those trees come down in that storm and the city take them to Florida Bennett Field, that kind of made this a lot bigger because I was able to save something that no one else could. And I was able to provide something that no one else could because I cared.
New York CitySlab's yard is currently stocked with over 25 species of local New York City and Northeast native trees. How those trees are recycled, milled, and eventually transformed in the shop is an exact science.
From the moment that tree is cut, it takes 1 year per inch to dry. The drying starts from the moment that tree comes off the mill. So how you take care of that tree from that moment affects the life of that board, of that lumber, of that material. After it's sat in the yard for X amount of years, you put it inside the kiln, and the kiln reduces the excess moisture, and what that prevents is the tree moving, the board moving when it's in your home.
When you recycle trees, you're actually allowing other trees to thrive. Those trees can in turn reduce ozone levels in urban areas, reduce runoff and erosion by storing water and breaking the force of rain as it falls, and reduce noise pollution. Plus, depending on the species of tree, its age and health, a mature tree can emit enough oxygen to wholly support 2 people.
The fact that I'm doing something that is so close to preserving human life makes me feel good. Trees are a very, very intricate part of our everyday life that most of us probably take for granted.
Robert's recycling ways caught Martha Stewart's eye in October 2016. Her American-Made Summit, which recognizes up-and-coming entrepreneurs who demonstrate innovation and creativity in the fields of agriculture, manufacturing, and design, honored Robert and his company.
Yeah, that was a huge honor, and she's an absolutely fabulous lady. Yeah, she's very smart and hands-on.
To give you any tips?
Her tips was saving more trees because she had 200 trees come down in a storm, and she actually had a sawyer come in and mill that for her. And of course I told her the bigger stuff that the mobile mill can't get, let me know and we'll come in and take care of it.
Learning science in a textbook can sometimes be boring and lead to disinterested students. But what if learning about science was like traveling through time? Lisa-Beth Kofitz reports.
What on Earth Publishing has created a line of books that tell the story of science through time. And somehow, author Christopher Lloyd and illustrator Andy Forshaw have made reading a reference book kind of feel like playing with a toy. And who better to show us how it's done than the author and creator himself, Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Hello, welcome to New York.
Well, thank you very much, Lisa. Lovely to be here.
Christopher, how do you play with this book?
What we want to try and do with this book is to try and show you a huge story, to zoom out so kids can connect knowledge together and take their own journeys through time. So how do you do that with science? Well, the best way, we think, is to produce it on a timeline, because that means everything's in context, but you can start and finish anywhere you like without ever getting lost. So what we put here is a timeline of 1,000 moments, all the way from the Stone Ages to the present day, that show you how people have changed the world through science and invention. But it's something you don't just have to leave in the book, because you can unfold it. And one of the real powerful ways of using paper is to think beyond the box, if you like, and to think, how can we tell a story in a way that you can't tell it on a screen? And something where you can really present a giant, big, amazing landscape of achievement. Usually when you ask people what is science, they might say, well, it's physics, chemistry, and biology, because that's what they did at school. But actually, in this way, you can see that science isn't like that at all. It's actually the most amazing story that goes back 10,000 years, from the Stone Ages to the present day, and is the story of how people have changed the world with their hands, where they make things, and their brains, where they come up with amazing ideas. When you think of it that way and you zoom out, you realize that we're all participants in this amazing drama that's the story of science and engineering.
And there's some very key points happening. We see sort of a darkness in here, and then we get to this triangular prism.
Yes.
Of who? Who is that guy?
Sir Isaac Newton. And what you will see is this beam of light represents the timeline, and it shines into the prism, and the date is about 1670. And out of the prism come all the different parts of the light spectrum. And this represents the spectrum of science on a scale from abstract, like maths and measurement, through to infinity, which is outer space at the top.
This idea of the timeline adding up or stacking up really plays out in one of the other books, which is the
History of the World.
History of the World
Indeed.
book. So let's look at that one.
So this one, again, it unfolds, and it starts with the beginning of the universe in space, and every chapter is a different color. And we have Earth, we have the sea, we have the Stone Ages, all the way here, that's natural history. And then the different colors here represent different parts of the world. And what's exciting about this way of presenting the big picture is that you can make connections. Like you can choose a date, and in 1520, for example, we have a very famous king of England. His name's Henry VIII. And then at the same time, you can see in China, they're building the Great Wall of China. And the Incas are living in Machu Picchu, and the Africans in Great Zimbabwe. And this man Luther here, who we just celebrated 500 years since he hammered his protest on the doors of Wittenberg Cathedral. So it's an exciting way of seeing what's happening when.
Each timeline wall book has a quiz in the back to encourage kids to dig into the contents.
And it releases a little shot of joy or dopamine in the brain when they discover they know something that their parents, or even better, their teachers don't know.
You have made paper exciting.
Well, paper is exciting, but I think what we're trying to do is to rediscover ways of using traditional storytelling techniques that make them different from what kids are used to perhaps in the modern world. And we shouldn't forget that paper and touching things with your hands and using really big spaces is a tremendously powerful way of telling a big story.
Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you for having me on the show.
This has been Lisa Beth Kovitz for Science and You.
That's our show for today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tinabeth Piña. We'll see you next time on Science and You.